Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. Hope everybody had a lovely day. And with that being said, let's get into the TA. I know it's only 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I understand, all right? And I understand I might sound a little tired, maybe, all right? I did get up a few hours ago, so, it is just the morning here. But I'm just recording this because I'm seeing things on the chart, and I want to put this video out as quick as possible so you guys can see the things on the chart that I'm seeing on the chart. If you like that and you're new here to the channel, then hey, maybe this is the place for you. All right, if you do find value in these videos and the content that I put out there every single day, put my time into to give you free content each and every day, please support the channel with a like. It would mean a lot to me. And let's get into it. So I'm just going to start off the bat with what I am saying that doesn't add up to me. All right. And it doesn't add up. But like there's one scenario where this does, like there's two ways this ultimately can go. And I think it's going to be one of these ways with what just pretty much went down. So let's talk about it. All right, so it has to do with QQQ. All right, QQQ is extremely overbought here, and it needs to cool down, but it can go higher. All right, so that's like one of these scenarios here. All right, but we got QQ. It literally does suggest like we are going to be hitting a peak soon, but we still have room to go on that peak, guys. We still have room, all right? I told you guys that I was going to be watching 70 on the RSI over here for the peak over here on SPY and QQ. And guess what? SPY started catching up to QQ. QQ's RSI started cooling off. All here, it's been completely flat since the 16th. It's now the 24th. Well, SPY, since the 16th over here, all right, it's also been kind of flat there, all right? But my point here is that QQQ's RSI still has some room to go. That is what I was saying that I was looking out for. I still think that's going to be marking where like a lot of technical traders are going to hop on and be like, hey, all right, this is just like, I am a very basic trader. This is my basic edge. Let me hop on this thing short when the RSI hits 70. It seems to work pretty well every single time it happens in this bear market when you're overbought over here. All right. Oh, over here, you could have done the same exact thing. All right. Over here. All right. So, it makes sense that we're going to be going down soon, but it doesn't have to be yet. It doesn't have to be. Yes, like we have signs showing that we should be looking for sells, but it does not have to happen yet. All right. So now we're going to take a step over here to IWM. All right. IWM, guys, it does have a triple bullish divergence currently on the daily RSI, which is the thing not making any sense to me. And then you come over here to the weekly time frame on IWM and DIA. All right. And again, I'm going to point this out. All right. That's the thing that does not add up to me. All right. Like we have these things diverging from one another. And at the end of the day, they're likely going to run together. You're not going to see IWM and DIA just keep falling off a cliff here. I understand like that is what happened. I think on not this week, but the last week. QQ had a monstrous week where these things like literally did nothing down there. SPY did a little thing, but not nearly as much of a monster week that Nasdaq had over here. That's a crazy week right there. 5.8% week, whereas SPY only had a 1.6% week. All right. So there's that. So like I'm just saying, guys, NASDAQ could keep just going up until, like, it has that room. It could just truck upwards while IWM gets this dead cat bounce, and then, boom, there you go. All right? And I'm going to point this out for you guys. I know I've been pointing this stuff out, but that is the point of what we do here on the channel. I just show you guys that maybe a lot of people don't see these things. Because I'm going to tell you right now, all right? I don't see anybody posting about the things that I bring to you guys here on Twitter or YouTube. I mean, I don't really watch any technical people on YouTube. The people I watch on YouTube are pretty much just for like news, like the vast majority of them. There's some people like Jay Bravo. He has charts in his videos. He's probably one of the only YouTubers other than me, Kevin, that I'll like consistently watch like a lot of their videos. Because like, hey, he doesn't, it's just consistent value over there. All right, that's what it is, all right? He's entertaining. Yeah, I'll say he's entertaining and gives you the news while being entertaining. There's that. But yeah, guys, you have the triple bullish divergence. You have this, all right? Or is it a quadruple? That's the thing. Like, no, it's a triple, all right? From there, over there, all right, and it's this and this and this. Those are your points of divergence over there. And you come over to DIA, and it's like literally the same exact thing over here. And yeah, there you go. All right, you have the CCI in the spot where you have had all of your other major bottoms this bear market. I just don't think this time is going to be different. We come over here to the fear and greed index. We're at 28 right now. I'm not saying you can't go lower. I think you probably do go lower. All right. That's kind of what I'm getting at here. I'm trying to work this into the analysis because of what Jerome pretty much just told us is that, like, hey, there is like concern here. All right. And then there's the Janet Yellen thing. And now Janet Yellen is kind of just switching up what she said. She said, oh, yeah, we're not going to help everyone. And then the next day, after that sparked panic, she came out saying we're going to help everyone. So, I mean, like, with the whole banking fiasco going on, yeah. All right, now that Jerome is like, he's acknowledged that they're going to step in and they have the tools to do whatever's necessary. But in my mind, how I'm taking that is, and I'm a market participant, so I'm imagining a lot of the other market participants are taking it that way. Why do they need to step in? All right. He's like, yes, he's assuring that they will step in, but what is going to happen to lead to them to having to step in? All right. So there's like that. I'm just saying, like, it's not the best look. All right. But you do have this liquidity coming into the system. All right. So, like, could we see? I'm just saying, guys, we could see this market rally continue. All right. And then down the line. All right. I don't know what would happen. All right. But maybe some of the stuff that we're touching on right now, what I was just mentioning, maybe this comes back in full force and boom, all right, after technicals cool off here, right, after IWM has this dead cat bounce, it resumes back to the lows, makes a new low, and does the same thing again. You could play it again, all right, there you go. I'm just saying, I don't, like, if we were to keep falling off the cliff right now, I'm going to say the downside over here is very limited in my personal opinion. Yes, QQ has all the room in the world to fall, guys, and we're going to go over this, all right? We're going to go over basic price action that I'm seeing and where I think things are going to be going. But yeah, over here, like, look at this, guys. Like, it just does not make sense. All right, so now let's cover what we normally cover in these videos. We're going to go over the daily, the 4 hour, and the 1 hour. And we're going to leave the weekly charts for the weekly update. There's going to be that. And someone asked something about the monthly chart. All right, and I'm just going to quickly answer that. All right, so someone asked about there's a shooting star candlestick on the monthly time frame, right? All right, so you had this. All right, the shooting star. The shooting... So... how I look at the monthly and the weekly time frames, right? And by the way, guys, technicals, they don't always have to work, right? There's different components on my TA. I promise every single component of the TA, there's always going to be a time when it doesn't work, all right? But guess what? This still didn't, with how I use this still ended up working, all right? All right, so you have a bearish Miami candlestick formation right here. You have a shooting star candlestick formation right here. All right, the shooting star candlestick formation is bearish. All right, that suggests that the next month, if you're using how I use the weekly and monthly candlesticks, all right, on the daily time frame, you're waiting for confirmation on these candlesticks for further moves for that falter. But on this one, on the monthly and weekly time frames, I don't look for that confirmation when I'm seeing candlesticks, because by the time you get confirmation, it's typically too late. Or you missed, like, a lot of what that thing was trying to tell you. Like, up here, you had a bearish Miami candlestick formation, all right? That told you you're probably going to dip past this, the bottom of this body of the candle over here, all right? And you did, all right? Now, did I know you would have closed underneath it? No, all right? But these do suggest that sellers were forming these candlestick structures, all right? So if sellers were doing so, they're in control. The only way a bearish formation forms is if a seller was, like, doing it. All right, so the follow through from that structure, which in this case it would be candlesticks, is likely to be bearish. So that's pretty much like what I'm getting at with that. But yeah, all right. So we have a shooting star / doji. I mean, we'll see how it ends out the week right here, right? If we end out a little lower, like maybe 391, 390, yeah, just about 390.60, all right? If we end up right over there, then we have a gravestone doji on our hands. And but either way, this suggests we're going lower next week. That is ultimately what I think is going to happen anyway. All right. But yeah, let's show you guys what I'm looking at right now. All right. So starting off with QQ, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, you have like a lot of room to fall here, like a lot. All right. Like we're gonna look at the lower time frames where I think like, hey, you bounce on a smaller time frame. All right. But on the this macro perspective we got going on right here, all right, on the daily time frame, I think you get your bounce here. All right. I think you're probably gonna come back eventually and back test this broadening formation you had right here. And maybe you do that now. Maybe what I just pointed out on IWM, maybe it's not going to mean anything, okay? But like it suggested we were going to be getting a rather explosive bounce over there. I think we got a rather explosive bounce, all right? Maybe we didn't get much of a bounce here on IWM, all right? But it was our little canary in the coal mine that did end up helping us out last time. So I do think it is going to be the case this time, guys. What do we do here on the channel? We connect the dots. We bring an order to the chaos. And if you like that, then maybe this is the place for you. Maybe you should stick around and, hey, grow the channel. All right, that is kind of what we're doing here. All right, but I pointed out in yesterday's video that this thing is not bullish, guys. You have two big wicks coming in. All right, that's not good at all. All right, come over to the weekly time frame. Well, guess what, guys? You had three big wicks over here. You had two big wicks followed by another third big wick. All right, and now you have two wicks popping up right here. All right, so like, yeah, you could end up going higher. All right, you could, but it's Friday. You're having that decreasing buy volume. I don't think you're gonna get any crazy volume spike today that's going to you know, bring you up over last week's crazy volume. So we're not having any signs suggesting we're going to be making another high next week. Oh, decreasing buy volume over here on SPY as well. SPX, what do we got? Decreasing buy volume. IWM, all of them got decreasing volume, not the whatever. When I'm looking at volume, guys, I typically just pay attention to QQ and SPY and SPX. That is the big boy right there. All right. Yeah, I mean, guys, this is looking bearish. I'm still gonna stick with what I said yesterday. All right, but I do think a bounce is on the table. All right, so all right, so QQ did have its oscillators set a bearish divergence over here, and its oscillators suggest like, yeah, that pullback can happen. But like I pointed out, RSI suggests it could have a little bit more room to the upside. And hey, we do have this 322.08 gap fill. I'm not saying that is going to be filled. But that, in my opinion, it's currently on the table because it does not make sense to me. Like, something needs to give. It's this one or this one. And if IWM bounce, QQ is going to bounce up, probably break this high, maybe go visit there. All right. And then if QQ falls, IWM just doesn't make sense at all. So I'm thinking a bounce is going to happen here across everything. And that would align with QQ going back up. And maybe SPY comes up. And I mean, see, that's also the conflicting part. We're going to have to see what happens here. Maybe this bounce literally just brings us back up to this trend line resistance again for more rejection and another lower high. And then there we go. All right. But, you know, all right. But yeah, unlike QQ, I mean, SPY's oscillators down here. We have room to rip up. All right, you come over here to IW and DIA, definitely, like with what I was just saying. All right, DIA is still holding this bull flag and its broken trend line that it broke out of. All right, still hasn't had that daily close underneath it. All right, so are we going to hold that a little longer? I think we're probably going to do so. All right, and like I pointed out over here, you got this. This is still pretty low. All right, it only needs to go under 25, and you're back in extreme fear. That's the point when, yes, I am looking for short squeeze. Like, I'm considering. I don't know. I really was considering, like, hey, bringing up like a call trade idea over here on IWM just because, okay, all right, we got to play these not too long ago for the significant gains, and I think the same exact opportunity is knocking at our doorstep right here. All right, but I'm going to take a step back on this one just because we did end up locking in another we got to lock in another 90% gainer. Anybody could have locked in those gains at 80% or so yesterday at a low. Yeah, today I ended up seeing, I saw 94% gains, and then I started selling and things started tanking on me. So I didn't sell for the 94%. But those were the April 390 puts, the April 21st 390 puts on SPY. Shout out to the Patreon if you guys do want to join the community of traders over there, as well as you'll get all my high probability trade alerts. All right, yes, they are alerts, but you get the trade ideas with the trade plans. You get the entries, the targets, the stops. All right, so your risk management, and yeah, all right. If you want to be a part of that, we are going to consistently be killing that. I know for a fact we have been consistently killing it. All right. If there are any Patreon members still in the audience, all right, hey, all right, show the other people or tell the other people just how much of a good time it is. And yeah. All right. But I will let you guys know they do get their own personal midweek update over there, and then their own weekend update. That not only it goes over what we go over here in a shorter version of it. I don't go over all of the details here because it's not trying to sit here and educate the public on that. But you get that, so you get the index analysis, and then you also would get the you just get all of the updates on our plays and anything I'm looking for as a potential trade idea on the week, and then also any ticker requests. You can, request tickers, and I will look at these in these updates. But yeah, all right, if you want to be a part of that, link is down below, and yeah, would love to have you. But back over here, all right, so coming over to the 4-hour time frames now, so smaller time frame time, we're going to come over here and start with SPX. All right, so this is why I actually did end up taking 2/3 of my profits there. And it's because we started, well, we didn't, actually, when I started taking them, we were literally still right here. We were not getting any buying pressure stepping in. But we had the bullish divergence going on right here, right there on your hourly CCI. There we go. And then you come over here in QQQ and SPY, and over here on SPY, this is what I saw. Now, SPY is in a rising or a falling wedge here, all right, and if this was a valid 3-week pattern, that one of the target would be here. But this is just a pennant, so there is a target that we could put on the board for a pennant. We're not going to do so though. Just know if we do end up breaking out from here, I'd say it's on the table for us to come back up and come tap that trend line again. But like, listen, guys, all right, there's only so many times a thing like a point of resistance is going to hold, and it could be something messy like we got going on over here. But I also wouldn't be surprised to see this thing literally just fall through and come down here. All right. If it does end up falling through and not bouncing here, then I do think the bounce spot is going to be here where I originally called it out, 386 to 388. All right. There would be that, but ultimately, I'm kind of expecting something like this, a lower high to come out of this, and then you end up coming down here, right? You come over here to the 4-hour time frame on SPX, and it shows us that, like, hey, all right, we actually still have a decent amount of room to go down, all right? And like I showed you, when you get these 1.69% candles, all right, any of the bigger ones, you had a range of 2 to 5% that we could have kept falling here before getting another, like a decent sized rebound there. Right, which I understand you got a decent sized one right away, but we only fell 0.6%. All right, so that was a pretty massive impulsive candlestick right here. All right, which I think kind of showed the seller strength there. But yeah, you got what it takes to come on, get back down here. So if you do end up getting this bounce now that I'm showing you out of this rising wedge on SPY, I think you come down here. And I think you accumulate enough strength here on this, like, whenever sellers do, wherever they do decide to pounce on this thing. I don't know if it's going to be, call it here, all right? I don't know if it's going to be there. Or if they're literally just going to wait to pop up right here. I don't know. All right, they could literally, that's what I was saying. Like, if this was a 3-week pattern here, I would just literally be going with, yeah, we're going to come back up, and this would be one of the targets. We're probably going to hit the high here. But it would be a pennant, so the target would definitely not be that. It would probably be somewhere down here. Pennants don't have big targets, if I'm remembering correctly. Nevertheless, I am looking for this thing to break out, maybe get rejection here, and then I would be expecting you to come down here. If you get this bigger retracement, though, or a bigger move right there, I would expect you're probably going to come down here, and that's when on SPX you're not gonna find your buying pressure come in back over here. All right, you're gonna come all the way back down here. All right, and that is your oh, it's not your December low. Yeah, all right. So actually, now that I look at that, that is the exact same spot that I'm pointing out here on SPX. All right, so ultimately this is what I'm looking for, or SPY I meant to say. Ultimately, I'm looking for this 386 388 spot on SPY, and I don't know if that comes from, like, you know, if a bounce comes and takes us up. We do have the hourly bullish divergence on the hourly CCI over on SPY, and then we also have one on SPX, so that is something to note. You clearly did have the buyer stepping in. All right, so I'm glad we got to take the profits before these buyers stepped in. There's that. But yeah, I mean, we're going to have to see, guys. If you do end up not getting this bounce out of the structure, I'm going to say this is bearish. And I wouldn't be surprised if you take this out. I'm going to be honest, just because, like, hey, the buyers are showing that they're not stepping up, right? But they kind of are stepping up. Like, you see these wicks. That's what's making me nervous here about even being short, which is why, like, hey, I'm not going to put myself in that spot there. All right. All right, so I think that is pretty much it. We come over here to Mr. VIX. I want to show you that. So this is another thing suggesting that we could have that counter trend rally loading, or not a counter trend rally, or we literally go up and, like, do what I just said on QQ, and, like, maybe we come up here at 320.2208, and yeah, right. If IWM had decent sized bounce, QQ it shouldn't have a bounce, right? It's just, like, you know, trucking here to the upside, so it probably should keep trucking to the upside if everything else is going to start bouncing. Everything else has the room to bounce. It's obviously not this tech stock. You still have this thing, this bad boy doing that over there, and holy sweet baby Jesus, let's look at some green, guys. Wow. Oh, hey, look at that. Look at that, guys. The video really is going to be a good one. But I'm serious, guys. There is risk of coming back and squeezing on up here. I'm going to be watching what happens here at this trend line here, which is going to be around 162-ish. All right, 162, 163, guys. If you start getting buyers stepping in there, I have to assume that you're going to push up into the zone, guys, and that's where you're going to peak out. But that's what I was saying with QQQ. All right, everyone thinks this thing is ready to come down. Well, guys, all right, like, it tricks the market constantly. Everything, like, the market just wants to make a fool out of everyone. All right, and, like, the fear and greed index is still at 30, so we clearly have people ready to go short here. Like, I'm ready to go short here, all right, but, like, I'm also fully acknowledging that, hey, the potential there for a squeeze higher is here. All right, it's here. But I also fully acknowledge that, like, yeah, QQ really should be coming down. It should. All right, it should. We literally came back up, and now there's a bearish divergence on the weekly CCI. Like, I'm here for it. All right, I'm here for it. But like I said at the beginning of the video, something does not add up here. And you know, we do have the VIX over here. We had this bullish divergence that ended up sparking this, all right? And this is why I advise, guys, pay attention to those, the weekly, or not the weekly updates, the written updates that I put out over on Weeble, guys. Like, they really are valuable, all right? You're going to see things that, like, I know most people are missing, because most people aren't doing what I do each night and posting to thousands of people where they can't mess up, or someone will comment on them messing up. All right, so, like, if you want to, you know, have someone that will be reminding you of what's on the charts over there on Weeble, and there you go, right? Just look up Trader Henry J over on Weeble. Obviously, if you want me to, you know, if you want me to help you out and you want to be in the community, Patreon, there's going to be that. But yeah, with that being said, all right, with what we got going on here with VIX, I'm going to end it off with that. We have this bearish divergence going on in the hourly time frame. This could give birth to a counter trend rally over on the indices, or on QQ, it could give birth to what goes higher, right? But we did just have this 4-hour bullish divergence suggesting we're going to be getting that downside stepping up on the indices. That was happening right as we were up here. So there you goes, guys. This is what we do here on the channel. We put we bring an order to the chaos. We connect the dots. So if you like that, stick around. If you found value, please support the channel. And with that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.